See, everybody doubted you couldn't multi-stream. Yeah, here's your proof. First of all, here's your proof. This is multi-streaming at its best. Maybe I'm not streaming on TikTok, and I frankly couldn't give a crap less. And as far as like changing my Yes Dog page to a different name, I cannot do it. It won't let me. I don't know what's going on there, and I frankly don't care. I mean, most important thing I would say that I would take from this is the idea that this is, you know, thank you so much for hanging out with me as Uncle Security Bro here, and it's been quite some time, you know, even though that I did start this many moons ago when I finally made up my mind when I did solo. And when I say solo, I mean by myself. I had to sleep on it. I made up my mind one day and I started doing it, and I had different kinds of deals, and I admit it was better for its time, but it was also crappy compared to what I can do now. And so, yeah, again, if you're just joining me, hopefully you are joining me on uh, YouTube if you can't comment on BitChute or on because I probably won't be able to see your comments on um Twitch because for whatever reason it's not letting me see that it's live, so I don't have no idea. So yeah, but I will check it out here in just a moment. But I want to go over some things before I start going into things because oops. Oh hey, yeah, here's this is where the chat is because the thing about this is that um yeah, I love YouTube, but it's much like Walmart. I got a love hate relationship with it, and it's not anything to do with anybody special. But if you're here, yeah, I mean, I just want to thank you so much for the views, hanging in there with me because if you're a real fan, you'll understand because I'm a not work. I wouldn't say I'm a workaholic, but I'm always busy. I always try to make my time and effort to do things. I'm not a live streamer. I am not. I mean, uh, I hardly ever got into live streaming because it didn't hardly work out right and everything. When I did finally get into it, that is. No, I'm a content creator. And while I will occasionally do live streams whenever, because I can't promise to do this all the time, and I'm not going to put myself on camera right now. First of all, I don't have a shirt on. I do have pants. If that means anything. But I just don't. I mean, it's not that I'm embarrassed. I'm just simply because, well, I didn't even know how much time it would take to get all of it done and try to get all the trash done and get all set up. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even find my controller for the games that I was going to start playing. So that's kind of out the door right now. I'll have to work on finding that eventually. So yeah, I would appreciate any comments and questions, or, positive comments. I mean, I don't mind a bit of negativity, but don't go out of your way to say you're faggot, you're gay, and all that bullshit. Okay, you will be immediately blocked. Okay, like I understand constructive criticism and I can handle that. What I can't take is someone trying to dog me out just because you think you can do better than me. And you know what? I'm glad you can. But this is my stream. I'm not here to impress you and a bunch of other people. And the reason why this is on so damn long is because I I just happen to be trying to set this up, try to get it going. Probably should refresh the stream, but it doesn't really matter anyway. I'll probably wind up deleting it or whatever, or redo it sometime or something, because this stream was not a pain in the ass. It wasn't. And I'm not afraid to cuss here. I mean, I'm not trying to be all cussive or anything, but, same time, yeah, I mean, I will try to keep it as best I can, within the family of PG-13. But, you know, um, I'm not going to promise a deal. Every stream won't be the same, just like the same thing about videos. You won't always hear me cuss, but there will be. I mean, it's not because I think, oh, cussing is a bad thing. I believe that, if anything, cussing also it just depends on doing their own thing. Because I mean, I can't promise to keep this completely cuss free, and I can't promise to not cuss or to cuss at all, for that matter. I mean, I mean, it's just the way it happens. And I figure it just kind of fits. If I was doing this off of any other device, I wouldn't be able to do this at all. So, you know, yeah, I had planned to get up my other computer. I got close today. I got some stuff done. But what you don't realize, for those of you who criticize, is that yes, I have my own health problems. That's not to say I don't keep stuff maintained or that I'm a person that constantly starts fires or something like that. I'm not like that. I mean, more often than not, I do the best I can to keep things as clean as possible. And I have no idea what a clean page is, for those of you out there who I won't name any names, but a little too long to remember off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, like, was there any porn or nudity? No, but that's the only thing I can think of when someone says clean page. I don't know. It was nothing indecent. I mean, there might have been some, bras and panties. Probably shouldn't have been, but that's really not my forte. I mean, to be fair, it's not something that I get into because it's not something that I'm turned on by. I don't care how much I may or may not love the character itself. No, it doesn't matter to me. See, well, I could sit here and try to do some live streaming of, well, PS4, PS5, that kind of baloney hole stuff, but I'm not. I'm seriously not. So I got it right up here. I don't know. Maybe I need to refresh. But, you know, when I said the post about as I do this, I mean as I go along, I intend to do better, because this was not my plan. Because I promised, and I had to borrow a mouse. Yeah, essentially, I was asked to buy. Well, actually, I asked to buy it to replace the mouse, because there was something else wrong with the mouse. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't like laptop mouses. I cannot stand them. I mean, yeah, I'll put up with the keyboard, whatever, but not the damn mouse. They literally do. People think that built-in mice are so great and everything. And you know what? That's fine. That's their own thing. For me, I don't like it. I don't know how you can deal with it fighting you. Maybe you just don't see it. Maybe you don't have the problems I do. But that's no reason to call me out and shit. I mean, sorry, excuse me. There's no reason to call me out like I'm a freaking liar when I'm not. Just because you don't trust me because we just met or anything. Thing is, it's not about trust. Well, it is eventually, but you always should give someone the benefit of the doubt, regardless. Regardless of your feelings, always give someone the benefit of the doubt because you never know, they could be innocent or they could be lying. Like they could be telling the truth. You don't know. Even though that there's stacked against evidence against someone, doesn't necessarily mean that they did it. It happens more often than you think it would. The thing about having to talk about this, essentially because of the idea that trust and all that stuff. And what you don't realize is there's many people have gone to jail for years and years for evidence that said that they did it, even though that they really didn't do it. It came out to be that this is why you have to get the benefit of the doubt. I mean, even though that there is evidence, which is wrong to say, yeah, you're lying. I mean, it's always, you know, the evidence will amount the more someone talks when they continue to change their story. That's when you know they're lying. You know, continue to change the story. Like, I didn't do anything. Yeah, okay, you saw me. If you saw me on the camera, I did it. I can't believe that guy said that crap. Yeah, it must have been him. A guy that literally he did something that was something he was the biggest regret of his life. This guy who honestly I don't see the problem in someone actually backing up on their own property, their driveway. I can't see how that's a bad thing. I can only see how it's bad if in the sake that you're trying to get through with someone guards darts past you, then that's bad. But if you're just generally backing up in their own driveway, then that's not a bad thing. It would be no more of a bad thing than them driving forward. I mean, come on. You know, seriously, let's get real here. It's like when people says, "You too, have a good day." You too. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying that. What have you all? What is up with this fascination in saying, you know, you too is something that you should never say? Uh, what are you talking about? I don't get it. I'll never understand. I'm 42 years old, and yeah, I do have memory problems, but I still know who problems. It's nothing to do with how bad my health is either. I've always had kind of sort of bad health all my life. progressed differently and got worse differently. I'm active as much as the next person goes, and I don't. I plan to do something that's going to sound insane to a lot of people. I'm going to continue to eat and try my best to also lose weight at the same time. See, and this is only for me because I'm not going to suggest that you go and do all that way because that is my literal goal. I will do the best that I can eating healthy food and still lose weight. I'll also eat some, healthy food here and there. But not because, oh, I might lose weight. I don't care nothing about that. I want to lose weight at the same time. And I'm going to try my hardest. See, everybody's body, if that makes any sense, is different. You know, there's no sense in going on about how, well, just because I did it, you can do it. No. You do however you want to. This is my life. Okay? You know, I'm not getting paid for this. I don't really care if I do or not. I mean, as much as it's nice to get paid, I wouldn't turn it down. But here's the thing, you know, everyone always has to go in for the paycheck because you're greedy. Every time you upload a video and you do it like this, and this is how I mean specifically for the record, if you're doing it just for the money, like, okay, I'm not going to upload it unless I just see bunches of money hit my account. Or because you went off, you couldn't do this unless you had to finally do an OnlyFans. Yeah, some kind of pay should do with inappropriateness with other adults that are between you that's an adult. I don't care about what you do in your own personal private time. And I do believe that people earn the right to have money. Or not earn the right to have it, but to earn it. Earn the right to earn it. To actually keep it in your hands is a different story. Because here's the thing. While there are poor people that get more poorer and poorer, think about it. This whole world is screwed up because of money. You would rather put value on that instead of absolutely doing the right thing. Whereas opposed to if you were sitting there dying, no, I wouldn't save you the same traditional way that other people do it. Because I think that's BS. I will say that I will do my doggonest to save your life. And you will be saved. I mean, I'm not gonna say, well, okay, you got $500 million. Do you want to do some, inappropriateness later or something? Thought someone was coming. Oh yeah, someone was coming in anyway. Not in here, no, but they're going in to do something out there. I don't know, but I mean, literally, thing is, we all place value on stuff, and then we talk about reputation. I'm going to talk about reputation to you. Reputation means crap to me because reputation involves appearance. Like, do I have to impress you now? Because I don't care what you gotta say. Either you take me as it is, you look like you love me the way I am. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta say the words "I love you." You don't know me, and I don't know you. I appreciate the sentimentality. I'm not going to sit there and downgrade you or tell you can't say I love you. No, you can say it all you want to, but I'm not saying you gotta. I mean, people think you gotta say it. It's like best friends. In order to have a best friend, it is only like one or you have to be married. No, I'm not interested in being a couple to have a best friend. And best friends I find are like just like any other friend. They're more so when you're a family, regardless of whether you're blood or not, than you are someone who's outside the family. Because that's the only real way to truly be, a friend, even a best friend for that matter. Man, whether you believe me or not, hey, I don't care. You know, I just don't care because I know what's truthful, what's truth. I also know that yet there are. I'll admit that some people know what they're talking about, but not on everything. Because there's things people refuse to see from the looking glass. As a tech who's been around for a long time, even though that I tend to forget things, I do know certain things that are more true than people realize. They don't want to realize, you know. And the thing is, about when it comes to tech, I know what I'm talking about. You can make a computer however you want to, but it is not going to be better ever than a computer that has CD DVD drive. Now laptops still will always suck because they don't have a CD DVD drive. Now, I know digital is all great and everything, but it's not all that in a bag of chips. Because let me tell you something. As much as physical can be burned and or not burned, but can be get screwed up and everything, you can lose data. You can lose all that's online because there are lots of times you can start over and there could be a time that you can't get on and you're screwed because oh well you wanted to download a game and because whatever because you needed to re-download your Windows system whatever that or that operating system is, you're screwed because it's all digital. Digital is fine, but it needs to be both ways, physical and digital. In case digital goes down, you can take and redo the digital from that deal if you also know what you're doing. I do know what I'm doing, but I also don't know what I'm doing. Because there's a lot of things people say, but they leave out stuff that I have to figure it out on my own. What makes you a true tech has nothing to do with whether or not you know anything about making other things come to the deal. No. It's the hardware, understanding how a computer can run and functionate. Functionate, I mean, function. Because if it doesn't function right, you ain't got nothing. It might be a hardware problem. Okay, here's the thing, and I'm going to point this out. What if you're in a location that has no internet? Well, you go, no, okay. That aside, if you say all that stuff, what if you can't go anywhere and or everything is shut down and you can't go down out there and re-download that operating system because you're screwed. or not because you put, sorry, because it's just not possible. Let's say even if you have bought it off of Amazon, eBay, wherever you get it from, can you truly say that without a shadow of a doubt that you actually could have done it if there was no way to download it? If it's just all digital? No, you could not. Well, actually, you could, but then you'd be lying because, but who cares, right? You know, obviously, you wouldn't be able to get online and talk to your buddies, but there's more than that. It's the idea of being able to get online or just to even fix your computer. Do you realize that as much as I know, there are more people out there that even know more than I do? And at the same token, I do know this, that if a computer goes down, and they do, every computer will do this. Okay, your internet is not going to function if it goes down. It is not going to try and recover from the internet. It doesn't work that way because it will have problems. Doesn't matter whether you got caught in the cookie jar looking at all that porn or not. What matters is whether or not you are running a function system. Your system needs to function. And if you ever have any problems, and you will, I guarantee it, not just because I say anything, no matter how fancy you could put it all, whatever you want in it. But I guarantee you that you will have problems. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you gotta take it to a shop and you ain't got no money, boy, I tell you what, I don't know what to tell you. Because I mean, if you want to replace it, buy brand new, and you can't do anything about it. What are you gonna do? See, this is why people need to learn the trade, to know about it. You don't gotta know other things that everybody else knows. You gotta know enough. When I went to school many moons ago, yes, there was a computer course. Did I really get into it? No, because it wasn't really all about computers. However, I did wind up taking another course later on in another school doing, and that's where I learned and understood about computers. Still a lot of stuff you got to learn because it always something new. But every tech who's been through it all tells you, who's truly been through it all. Anybody who says, yeah, well, there's nothing new to learn, they don't know nothing. I mean, I'll admit I don't want to know no more than I already know. No. But yes, I do want to say that I thank you so much for the views and the subscribers because everything I have done up to this point isn't just because of the views, the subscribers, because I wanted to create something. Yes, one is for myself, and it's kind of a type. Yeah, actually, no, not kind of fully is a type, and a number one bracket of what the reasons why I mainly do this. Yes, for me and for you. And and when I say you, it's obviously not going to be people that's not going to be watching me at any given time, whether I'm live streaming or I'm doing recorded content. And yes, I will record content, whether my voice is on there or not. And if you don't like my voice, well, then guess what? There's the door. Because I'm gonna tell you what, I don't care. You know, it's not gonna hurt my feelings any at all if you're hurt or because you don't like me. See, that's another thing of face value. Everybody thinks that everybody needs to like somebody. You don't. This country, actually, the whole world is not built upon that everybody needs to like everybody. If that were true, then you wouldn't have video games. You wouldn't be able to have a reason to escape because you got bills, people that die, crying out loud, that pass away. And oh, all of a sudden, oh, I ain't got nothing because God forbid, Just God forbid the idea. Yes. I mean, like, these are the kind of things I can handle. Things I don't mind. It's like when I dish out something. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be one of the bullies or anything like that. But I pick on somebody in a certain way that they can pick back at me. It's always how I felt about things. I've never felt that it's no given time should it be that I'm the only one doing it. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if I can dish it out, I can take it, which means push back, throw something at me. But don't be giving all that stuff that I won't give you. You know, like because I believe in being treated how I want people to treat me. You know, and yes, I do judge others, but only by their actions, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge people by their appearance or because they might look sexy or ugly as hell. I wouldn't care. Are we friends or not? I don't give a damn if you're ugly or not. You know, I mean, so you what you lied. That don't matter. As long as you eventually honestly told me the truth or honestly lied about it, eventually, I don't care. I mean, there's only some things I don't want to know. When's the last time you're having such and such relationships with your partner? That's the kind of thing I don't want to know about because I'm not trying to ask for that. Let's make that stuff clear. If you're a person that wants to discuss that kind of stuff, you know, that's fine, but don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. Not directly, anyway. That's why I also created the group that I later renamed to DJ Train's Outpost Corner. That I am still impartial to where I somewhat helped take over on Facebook. Now, the reason I can't Facebook live stream is because not because of XSplit, is because I have to have so many followers. I believe they said I have to have 100, which is stupid. I have to be there more than 60 days. I've been there for more than 60 days. And while it's true, this thing does have a way for me to do it, but it won't let me do it unless I have 100 followers. And I'm not going to sit here and ask and plead and beg. I'm not even going to do that for subscribers. But I will say that if you truly have, because I mean, like, everybody who posts content, I believe in my own way that some things I can maybe do better, but not on everything. And that would be, and I would say for myself, for the record, not to do better than them. And I'm not trying to be number one or whatever, but there are things I will correct upon that I have seen that people make a point to. I mean, like, look, it's good to see a perspective and all this stuff. The one thing I can't get behind is the dedication that just I can't wrap my mind around. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it. They can do it all they want to. I don't care. That doesn't bother me any. Because, you know, and, and for those of you who call out people who cheat, I'm gonna do. How would you like it if I started making videos about you or live streaming? Because you know what, you're not cheating. You need to cheat, cheat, cheat. Go ahead, cheat. How'd you like it if I ostracized you about that stuff? You wouldn't like that, would you? No, because I don't care if people cheat or don't cheat. At the end of the day, it don't bother me. Oh, I'm so bothered that somebody cheats. It's like when somebody cheats in a relationship. You think that's different? That's because it is. It's not the same. Should you be locked up for it? No, not really. I mean, at the same time, there's still no reason or excuse to cheat. If your reason to cheat is because they pay no attention to you, then you have no idea what real love is. I mean, I get it that you don't love that person because you might want to have whatever, but it's important to tell this person, you know, or either that or just break up with them, before you even decide to do any such vulgarities. I don't know if that's a word to use in this context, but as that you want to have relations with someone else. I believe in many things, but that don't mean you gotta believe what I gotta believe in. Like I don't believe in the astrological signs. Astrological lines BS. If you want to believe in it, go right on ahead. But you're not gonna convince me at all that that stuff is real. Like based on because here's what got me the most, and I used to believe in this until people started saying such things. And I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of things I've noticed that I share a lot of traits with all of those signs out there, if you want to believe in that. Because they want to act like these things are separate and they're not. Based on that, how does that make one gay? How am I, how are we all the same? We're not. That's like generalizing men or women in the same concept that they're all the same. That's all they want is one thing. That's not true. I mean, yeah, we do want one. We want one thing, but there are plethoras of one thing. You know, and so what if we want to go and have relations with a woman? What's the big deal? It's not like we I mean, like, look, if we could all, have, um, uh, actually, I won't even say it. Never mind. The point I'm trying to make is that if it's so doggone easy, and yet you go out there and you go with other guys and stuff, then why can't it be easy for every man who wants to have relations? I mean, the thing is, a lot of us men don't really care for all this every single time we talk about, having inappropriate relations. We're not thinking about this all the damn time. What we want is when the time is right and we both feel like it, we're not going to force it. We're not going to do nothing. It is what it is, you know? And if you can't understand that, then you don't know what it's like to be with someone who loves you and wants to preserve the idea of respect and boundaries. And I'm going to tell you something else that I don't believe in either. If I see a woman lowering eyes down the ground, which I have seen, by the way, for the record, that does not make them loyal. I saw where someone said, they're just being loyal. That's not loyalty. That is someone who is afraid. They are afraid. Afraid. If you believe in loyalty, then you don't need to look down at the ground. You know. And more importantly, I'm sorry I talked about all this stuff and got off track here, but I wanted to wanted to thank you guys for to bear with me. And I'm not really gonna apologize for doing that. I didn't have much really about, but this is gonna be the thing. I know that it's not gonna be the only thing I talk about. What I want to talk about as well will always be the idea that if you want to, excuse me, let me close that out there. If you want to be a person who is of interest, and do yourself a favor, okay? You know, and you want to be respected, and if you're gonna, you know, dish it out, take it, you know, and make sure it's at least respectful enough that it's not gonna outright, I mean, you know, be like, oh, you know, whatever. See, and another thing I may never understand, and I'm gonna point this out, and that a man who's been treasured by a lot of people had said the N word a long one time, suddenly, you know, which was decades ago, I mean, half a decade ago, is now considered a racist. I don't really get it. I thought being a racist meant you can't say, like, about, like, their color. I mean, it's obvious you shouldn't say the N word, but come on. Really? You know, and all the videos he's ever made from a decade ago, they were censored out anyway. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is, if you want to know, PewDiePie. But anyway, back to what does matter. Is that this is what I understand about racism. When you describe someone who is of color and you say it in such a way, I mean, like, beyond explaining it, because, you know, one thing to explain it is another to absolutely insist upon it, if you know what I'm saying. Like, in other words, you can't be purple and come up in my bar, you know. Like, I can explain that, you know, where I'm using it as an example of something that I would never say. But if you're a person that actually sits there and says that, I mean, like, look at the sign, no purples allowed. See, even if I had used the word black or dark or white or whatever color, you know, that's what I thought being a racist meant. And I'm saying if I or someone else had said it, and I'm not going to, as something I would never say, and I'm not afraid to use it in the context of an explanation of an example of things that you don't say. You just don't say it. I also consider that being a bully because I am not going to say that. When I say dish it out, this is not what I mean. Like, for example, I've forgotten what a perfect example is for that. Or a good one would be not name calling or talking about someone's color, religion, or anything else. Something that's kind of would be insulting, but not so much that it's so bad that they can't retaliate back to you. You know what I mean? Because it should be like that. If you intend, and also if it's someone you know, obviously I wouldn't go around doing it to someone I don't know. Not at all. I mean, like, if I had to say it anyway, I mean, I'm not really sure of a good example would be a positive word to be something as a whatever, but like something that's kind of negative but insulting, but otherwise not really something that they can't, you know, react back to and give you something back in its place. Like, hey, because you said this and this, so let me call you something else. Whatever. You know, frankly, I don't really know. It's been a while, but yeah, I did that to my cousin. She knew I was teasing her, and she laughed, and she gave back, and then it was just what it is. I said, hey, sometimes yeah, you have to remind somebody. If I can dish it out, I can take it. So I'm on dish it back. Because the older they are, the harder it is for them to remember. Like they'll laugh at it, but they won't exactly communicate back. Like, okay, like throw out something at somebody. I wouldn't try to do this to strangers or people that I don't know. And I'm not talking about friends. Another thing I want to abolish in this entire world is called rage baiting. Everything you claim to be rage baiting is not what it used to be. I remember what rage baiting used to be. It ain't what it is today. Like, if I got mad at a game, it's not rage baiting me. I am just angry. I'm frustrated because I couldn't do something. You know, like, for example, squats. I cannot stand squats. If anybody doesn't know what squats is, it's kind of like doing, well, I wouldn't say push-ups, but just look at Final Fantasy VII or Crisis Core squats, because it's literally something that can be done, but it's very intimidating. I mean, like sometimes it's okay, everything, and it will be frustrating unless you can get it done right, because you got to. I mean, it all depends on also what you're trying to go for. And even though that at least it's not one of those things you can't screw up on. Like I know another thing that's a hidden gem in Final Fantasy VII that you don't actually have to do, but if you want to 100% the game, you got to do it. You can't not do it. You got to be able to do it. And another thing you got to be able to do is be prepared for it, because believe me, you don't got to be overly powerful for it. You ain't got to do none of that crap. You just got to be prepared. So I've got plenty of videos on that. I don't know exactly where we are at in my playthrough of it. Yes, on BitChute under Hanging with Uncle Security Bro. And I realize this has gone on quite a long time. But yeah, I figured I'd give my 2 cents and thoughts. I mean, if you don't like what I gotta say, well, too bad. Because this is the reality of things. Whether or not people believe me, even if I could prove it, and there's a lot of things I could prove on, and yeah, it would matter, but then there's things like, this, I shouldn't have to prove it. No. But hey, we're all different people. But at the same time, we're also one unique individual. We all have the same goals, mostly in life. A lot of them are different, and a lot of them are the same. I wouldn't say we're the same being, no, but I would say that individually, people are always people. What happens in prison should never happen to anybody. It doesn't matter what the crime is, you know, because here's the thing. I don't believe in any way or shape or form does that improve anybody, let alone executions. Because, you know, I don't believe anything. I believe that being punished and getting help is one thing, but that's not getting help. I get it. People need to be punished. But you want to talk about extreme factors. That's just extreme. But yeah. So if you have any questions, want to comment, whatever, you think this is just a silly thing that I should comment on, well, you're more than welcome to say that. But don't come at me like, this is the kind of crap that nobody should talk about, or because you should block me from doing anything because I should get canceled. I've already been canceled. I don't know exactly what all the details are. There are plenty of reasons to probably get canceled, especially in this day and age. Like, for example, if I don't go over there and start dancing like a dancer, which absolutely drives me bananas, because every time I turn around, there's always some new female or all doing these dances. Look, I'm not against them for dancing. Don't get me wrong. That's not the issue. The issue is like, is this all there is to contribute? I mean, they make all these damn things like they're supposed to be something, and most of the damn time, I hate and I really hate to bring this up, but here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with dancing in itself, but if you're gonna do it in such a provocative way, I don't think that it should be ever appropriate if you're underage, because it's like maybe you look like you're old enough, but you're not, and that's where it's like a trap. Like, hmm, oh no, you're kidding me. She looks like she's 21, but she's actually 13. Oh God, why? A lot of people have fallen for that trap. Yeah, like I mean that's why literally a lot of these people shouldn't dance so provocatively. I mean, again, unless they're, I guess, adults and whatever, 21 or older, something like that. I don't believe you're an adult unless you're 21, at least, or at least a full-grown adult that could do just about anything. I don't think anybody should actually be too dang old or too dang young either. Simply because, well, think about it. Our morality has changed. Our morals have changed. So many years ago, we didn't used to think this way. Now, I'm one that does agree with society, but I will also be the one to tell you right now that people don't want to talk about is the fact of how we got here. All it took was one individual, and now we're here today. Said no. That's right. That's what irrevocably changed us all for the better. Maybe. I couldn't tell you for the better in the end because I'm not God. But as long as we're in life and we live life according to humanity rules, I will say it like that for the record, then yeah, it's better. But as far as what God wants, we don't know what God wants. We have no idea. I mean, God didn't say, let's not do this, or let's not do that, or let's do this, and let's do that. Specific things that, whatever. God did say, however, thou shalt do unto others as thou wants those to be unto you. But also said no stealing. Now my thing about stealing is that I'm okay with it as long as it's not real life. Now you might think that's cruel of me, but because many moons ago I thought it was all wrong until I started playing video games. And then when I started to begin to realize and understand things, it's where it belongs. Because it's just fun. It's not meant to teach you, let's go out and do that. People try to claim Grand Theft Auto on Grand Theft Auto video games. When people are stealing cars and stuff like that. No, not true at all. Because it's just a source of entertainment. It's where it belongs. So I just wanted to quickly make this kind of a thing as a special tribute update, and yeah, my mom's gone. She's been gone since I don't remember. I don't know. I want to say around 2011, 2011, 2012. And her twin sister, who was supposed to pass away before her, actually passed away in 2013. Well, I don't know. I do know for a fact that that's what I know, even though that they recorded it differently. Like my cousin who passed away, who did things he wasn't supposed to do. I won't go into it. Nope. He was a terrible person until he changed, and then he was a better person. And I'll tell you right now, he changed for the better, and I'm glad he did, or he passed away. He passed before my brother did. My grandma passed away before that, and the last time I actually truly cried with full on tears was at my grandpa's grave. Before that, I did cry in the store when I was younger that I forgot about. When I was looking for my mom because I was frantic because somehow I lost her, and I was like, oh my god, got them to get a hold of her. I don't even remember what store it was. Doesn't matter. So I mean, like, a lot of things are different. A lot of parents, not all parents are the same. Not all parents are going to be bad parents. I mean, even though that there are some things that are cruel that they do, it does not mean that they're necessarily bad parents. Depends on the cruelty. They horsewhip you for no damn reason. That's a bad parent. Or they just outright beat you up. That's a bad parent. If they use a belt, well, more than it should be, I guess. That's a bad parent. Another thing I gotta point out, the way this society is and everything. If you think getting spanked changes you from becoming, gay or look the way someone does because they got piercings on and everything, I hate to break it to you, but that's not how it works. Even a spanked person can still do the same doggone thing. It doesn't stop them from being what they are. It doesn't stop them from, being a transgender or gay or, you know. And I support everyone, except for those that are against those that are gay. I don't support people that are like that. I don't support people that are so rich, although I do have an uncle who's, well, fairly off, I would say, but he's not rich by no amount of means. He's fairly off, though, where he doesn't have to worry about anything, tired and all that stuff. Unlike my grandpa, who I probably have said many a times, turned out, when I say turned out, I mean by information wise, because I didn't know this about him until years and years later. I mean, like, I didn't learn until after practically everybody was gone. I almost practically had nothing left of my family. That's right. Anyway, he was a racist. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not he changed. I don't know. I don't remember him too well enough to say whether he changed or not because I don't remember stuttering any words that was racist while he was alive when I was around him. And again, time he thought I was awfully young, so I don't know. And here's another thing about people you don't know, adults. A lot of things they keep hidden from kids. So he could have continued to be a racist. I don't know. That'll never stop me from loving my grandpa. You know, saying that his inventions were brilliant. But I will never say it's brilliant just because he was a racist. You know, that don't make me a racist either. That just means he was. My dad was never racist. She does not have pronouns. Even my dad may be a transgender, but my dad doesn't believe in that pronoun bullshit. My dad was around for a long time. And see, the thing is, people think that just because people are transgenders, they all of a sudden need pronouns. My dad doesn't believe in that crap. My dad is a she, is a female, but not he, she. There is no he, she. There's just she. And the reason I can say dad is because that's how I knew my dad biologically as a man. No one else gets that right but me. It's a privilege to even say dad. You know, I've known her as Anna ever since she came out as a woman. We had a fire a while back where we lost a lot of stuff. But I'm going to tell you something. It's not the first time we've ever lost stuff. You know that there is a country, not country, let's say country, state we lived in where they had everything out except for one thing that was lined up to the door. a hand down and down tabletop saw that went to my uncle. Or rather, no, I don't know if I want to. I wouldn't know if I would call it an uncle because they were cousin to my dad. Maybe they're our uncle's uncle. I don't know. Anyway, you know, the thing about him is that he was in a famous band. I don't know or remember that band's name, but you would know it because it's one of the old time ones. Um, I don't know if his name is on there, but Schmidt, Bruce Schmidt, yep, part of one of the oldest old times bands in history. That's right. Most of my family has either been a part of a musician. Well, actually, one part. You know that they're. I thought at first they were just a friend because many years my dad would say. Um, and I mean, anyway. Uh, my aunt Barbara, you would never know, but she never had any lines. She starred in two things: Air Force One. I don't know which one came before the other, but I know she started in it with my uncle Roger. No lines in it, like my cousin, who was a karate instructor. Um, I guess she's doing okay. Both her parents are gone. My uncle and her mom, which is also my aunt, my dad's side of the family. But anyway, she was also on a TV series where she had no lines. I think she had maybe one line or two in one episode, and I don't remember the name of the show either. I just know it was a school show. The one show that my aunt Barbara, I mean, my aunt was in was Married with Children. Oh yes, one of the oldest um, time shows that kind of took kind of did something to the mainstreaming service of things, like put a twist on family that no one has ever done before. They do a lot of the same thing that the other ones have done, like your average, what do you call it? Like Family Matters, Full House, where they had to have relationships and stuff. But this one here started off in a different direction. Married with Children was an all out comedy show where they were a bit more. I mean, they didn't really show anything any more than anybody else did or didn't do. But they did do some stuff, much like um, Hit the Road Jack, which is another show. I guess it was Happily Married or something like that. Happily Ever After. I can't remember the name of the show. The thing of it is that with this particular show, yeah, I think she's only there for maybe one or two episodes, and I can't remember. I know she was there at least. My aunt, anyway. She was there, and I say sorry because I don't know if I really should say her name, but yeah. See, oddly enough, you would think that that would make me famous or that I would grow, and it has nothing to do with it. The thing is, they were famous at one time. They wouldn't know me, but they would know them. I mean, I don't know if Al, or rather, what's his name? The guy who played Al. Ed O'Neill. I don't remember currently his name anyway. Who played him? Would he even remember her, or even? I mean, well, at least her name. 'Cause I don't think it was ever credited to her name. And actually, I know it wasn't. But I know he might. I don't know if he'll remember even seeing her. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that she was completely famous, like she had a star on the Walk of Fame or Shame or anything else, but just a little bit famous. That she probably wouldn't get recognized anywhere she goes because she wasn't exactly a person that had lines. But yeah, you know, as many times as that show goes viral, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who have family members and stuff in there. There was a movie called Little Rascals. My cousin who passed away was supposed to be in it. I didn't see him whatsoever. Oh, criminally. There's a spider right there. Ah. Anyway, so my Aunt Barbara was someone that will always be something. My uncle was someone who taught me Hebrew. Suffice it to say, I don't remember Hebrew too much, but I remember him as that kind of thing. I don't know how the rest of the family's doing because nobody wants to talk to me. I got one sugarcoating everything, saying everybody's just busy. Okay, if you're so doggone busy, how do you know how your family's doing? Do you even care? You probably don't. See, that's the thing about family that's also known as blood. And yeah, they're blood. If they actually truly cared, they would try to attempt to reach out every once in a while. Not as an expectancy, but at least to let me know how they're doing and want to know about me. How I'm doing. They don't care. They don't. See, that's what makes good friends and, you know, family is when they actually reach out instead of you always having the one to be go, yeah, I'm reaching out. You gotta give people at least one moment of your time, even if most of the time you're on a different time schedule. Let's say time zone to be exact. You can also communicate back and forth, even if it takes a while for them to respond. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is that there's no communication, which means I guarantee it they don't care. I'm not asking for them to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not asking them to come out and find out how I'm doing. I'm saying they should. You know, they really should, but they're not going to because They couldn't care less about me. If they cared, the one thing they would absolutely do is reach out. Why am I repeating myself? I have no idea. Moving on. So, how are you all doing? I know this wasn't exactly the most enjoyable stream for everybody because I didn't do everything that's supposed to be done. But hopefully it was enjoyable enough that you got enough information out of me. And yes, there will be more as we go along. Because there's like so much stuff I would like to tell. But what I feel like is if I told you a story about jail time, probably get me canceled. Even though it's crazy that a person like me has probably already been canceled. But yeah, I went to jail. It was a long time ago. However, something that I won't go into specifically all the details, I should say, but or rather the bad part. I will tell you the good part about it. I saved someone's life doing that. But I had a chance. If I had a chance to do it all over again, yes. But, however, I would handle it differently. Yes, I would. If given the chance, yes, I would handle it completely differently. In other words, yes, I would save them if I had a chance to do it again, but I would handle it differently than what I did there. I don't regret saving my mom's life. Oops, that's the one I saved. I don't regret saving her life at all. I may have had to pay for it, but I wasn't in there for very long. Nope, but it saved her life. Yep. I don't regret doing it. What I regret doing is the way that it happened. But I mean, I'm not dwelling on it. No, I'm just saying in the past tense that I mean, let me put it this way: I have regret. Excuse me, even though that's the past, and we are here today. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'd love to share with you, but I just don't have that kind of time. Uh, I'm not gonna promise to bring my other computer up here and start dangling with it because, as it is, I need to shut this down and put this back where this mouse should belong with this other computer. Probably shut it down, where it belongs. But most of the time, yes, I was messing with it with the mouse, but I had to borrow it because it was just fighting me too much, and then I had to reboot with it. Which yeah, that's fine. So but I mean, I've lost quite a lot of people in my life. People who say that they're my friend, and they're really not. They turn their back on me. I've had people tell lies about me. Yeah, I just one time I came over there and I apologized before I was told not to. I won't go into that what that was either. It's just not really worth going into. It's just a lot of hassle and stuff. I don't want to get into it. But a lot of stuff I will say that people are will always be yeah, and that's just the thing. You know, I as much as I love doing this, I'm not gonna say I love streaming. I really not. I'm not gonna say I hate it either. I'm not gonna say that it's wrong to live stream or that it's wrong to speed run. I just don't like speedrunners in the fact of, you know, that it's not that so much that they're doing what they're doing. I support that. Believe me, I think they should continue to do what they want to and speed run as much as they want. But what I want to point out is that it's not so much that is that I feel like they're not really able to truly enjoy the game as those of us who just take our time and do it. Because speedrunners, yeah, they're all right. They're awesome. I don't hacks. Now hacks I will find mostly cool, but it also depends on the hack itself. Hacks are like something that I feel have become something that that like okay, Kaizo. The Kaizo stuff that I've seen is bullcrap. I've seen the way people play games, you know, and it's like, okay, I don't like this. Now, I'm not going to sit there and comment and, this is not the way you should do it because, I mean, maybe it is the way they should play the game. I don't know. You know, I do know that that's not the way I would like to play it. I mean, if that's all I got to do is do exactly what they do to even surpass it, I'm not going to play it. You know? Speaking of hating games, I hate when a game doesn't feel like it's a game anymore. Or the same exact game. Like, I mean, I'm all for new. I am. What I'm not for is like with that title. Not Final Fantasy anymore. I probably have said this many times, but the exploration is not the same. Once you take that out, it was in Final Fantasy was starting to become less Final Fantasy as it was when they took away the ability to save crystals. You know, it was already less that way. I mean, I can't quite say that about Mystic Quest because Mystic Quest in its own right was something else, you know. But the overall genre of the Final Fantasy universe is no more. It died after 9. Now, that doesn't mean at the same token, though, that these are great games like Final Fantasy 12. Yeah, it is not Final Fantasy 12. It is more like something else that shouldn't even have the name Final Fantasy. It should be called, I don't know, the 1200th. Because, I mean, actually, there wasn't even 12 people on. There was just more than 12 in the entire game characters in there. Yeah. Whole storyline was obstructed. And the fact is, dude, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, not ladies and sirs, ladies and gentlemen, ma'am, sir. That's how that goes. That's how I was raised. Anyway, because women are ma'ams, you know. But yeah, I mean, anyway, the thing is, when it comes to this, they're all great games. Final Fantasy 12 was an awesome game. Does it really belong to the title of Final Fantasy? Do I really truly feel that it doesn't? No. If you're a true fan of Final Fantasy and you know what it represents to be Final Fantasy, you would not support the idea of it being called Final Fantasy anymore, especially Final Fantasy X. It doesn't matter how great the game is. We can all agree, man, it's an awesome game. It's awesome. Its music is awesome. Not the lovey-dovey crap. No, can't all agree on that. I mean, you can agree on it. It was whatever, but not all of us agree on that. That's one thing I can't agree with because that's not something I care two craps about that makes any bit of difference to me when it comes to a game. Games to me are kicking butt and asking names later. Even though there's some games that you have to kind of interrogate, enemy characters where you have to find out, like point and click adventure games. I always did love the point and click adventure games. It's one of the things that's missing today. That's not necessarily something that we actually have to survive on. Not really. I mean, the thing about again Final Fantasy will always be that yeah, they're all great games, but I just no, they're not a canon freaking Final Fantasy. There's nothing canon about it. I mean, we can all sit here and agree all day long how great and wonderful the game is. We're never gonna agree on the same page that that is a Final Fantasy, and we'll never do that. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're a fan of the actual game itself, that's fine. But when it comes to the title of what it truly means when they rip it from the core, and that's what that is, ripping it from the core. When it's not the same thing. I mean, even though that it's not exactly this. I don't mean in every single detail. Like all the characters are the same, all the storylines the same. No, it's the one element that was left that still made it feel like it was Final Fantasy. The true exploration that died with Final Fantasy IX. That's right, it died with Final Fantasy IX. The true exploration that you had was with Final Fantasy IX. 10, oh my god, you can't put it down. 12, because, and you might be wondering why I'm skipping Final Fantasy 11. Well, the Final Fantasy 11, not only was that online, but I've never played it. I had a copy of it. There was supposed to be a solo version of it, but it never happened. And the thing about Final Fantasy 11, it's also in one language only. Now, I didn't want to say Japanese because I didn't want to sound like a racist here. Because I mean, like, I'm not one to be against Japanese. I'm not. I support Japanese language. In fact, I support all languages. The thing I don't support is the idea that when we have all these other languages, there should be a translation where it's for everyone. And like it or not, Final Fantasy Dissidia does not count either. It is not a Final Fantasy either. I mean, I love Sodia to its grandest core. What I don't get about Sodia was there was actually apparently a version you could play where you could play through Final Fantasy 7 up through 9 and another one up to 10. Yeah. I mean, apparently I guess they just didn't want to include the online game and the whatever. Final Fantasy Mobius, I know next to nothing about. And I guarantee you that Resident Evil 3 as an anime would never happen the way if you saw what I saw, where she kind of turned around as she was firing Jill Valentine. I'm still gonna facepalm on that. Now I will say that the remakes look awesome in their own right, but at the same time, to me, it's not Resident Evil 2, 1, or 3. Because, see, Resident Evil 1, the remake, actually had the same feel as the original game. The minor difference was that they updated the graphics and there was more to it that was not included in the original game. There was actually something that they tried to put. I thought it was in one of the versions of Resident Evil, but apparently it was Resident Evil called Veronica X. Because yes, there is a Code Veronica X. It's the same exact game as Code Veronica, but apparently, I guess I don't know exactly what happened, but when I got the game many moons ago, it was actually physical copy, by the way, for the record. It started out in a jail cell. I don't understand why we were in a jail cell. I didn't quite I didn't know what the hell was going on or why we were there, something about something, and finally we got out. I don't remember how all it went, but that's how it went. Now let's get into Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is not an all thing like Final Fantasy X-2. But Tomb Raider is one of the worst games I've ever played in history. Now, I'm not going to say it's a game that's going to be worse on its own because I could never get too far in it. I suck badly at that game. I am not a girl gamer. Sorry. I at least the one that plays as women all the time. I did play a demo of one of the Tomb Raiders when I had a believe it or not, a demo disc that came with my PlayStation back in the day. And yeah, it kind of sucked at first, but I got better at it over time. But there was just one part of the game that was never there in the demo. You had to go through this thing, and you had to do it on a timer and get right through it all, and fast enough to get to the door. Yeah, that sucked. I mean, that really sucked. The aiming controls were terrible. I'll tell you that right now. You know, although in the demo disc, it wasn't too terribly bad. There wasn't too many enemies, though, to be fair. So, Final Fantasy X-2 is more of a girls' game. How do I mean? Well, I'll tell you specifically. It was designed and developed for females to play, not for men. Not for our average men to play like games like Final Fantasy, Suikoden, and anything that's not has the female as the typical protagonist with her female buddies. And that doesn't mean that we hate them. That just means we don't typically play them with that. Generally, because most of the games have a man with two female parties or other party members, depending on the game. And the games are all going to be awesome in their own right, but they're also going to suck depending on what it is. And a lot of people might think, "Oh, well, this was easy. This is like cool." Uh huh. So you're telling me that right now, that if I showed you a puzzle that I know is harder than hell, and you got it right, yeah, okay. Now there is a puzzle that's harder than hell for me specifically because I hate them. And the reason why that I hate it is because I'm no good at it. So you got to slide the pictures until it's just right, and then and that's in Resident Evil 4, the original. And I don't mean to bash upon remakes, but I just don't feel like it's the same exact game as just as much as Resident Evil 1 was. I don't feel truly that Final Fantasy 7, the remake, even represents the original in any shape or form. I feel that the game is got its own awesome quirks to it. Like there's extra content to it that was never introduced into the original game. It was pretty doggone interesting in its own right, but it's still not Final Fantasy VII. Not in terms of what represented to be a Final Fantasy VII, especially because there's a few reasons. One of them being like part is going to be another made one of those major reasons because it's not complete. They're still waiting on the third and final disc. That may not happen until PlayStation 6. Crying out loud. Like, that means that specifically, I'm going to have to buy either a digital copy, quote unquote, or a physical copy of, again, the remake and the rebirth before I can get the third installment, if they do. Because it just, because unless they have it to where they let you boot it up to the same save file. Because from what I understand, if you're doing it from PlayStation 4, the rebirth does not have any linkage to the PlayStation 4 version than it does the PlayStation 5 version of the remake. Absolutely freaking trash. I bought it because I thought that that was what it was, and it would be like something like that, and I thought it was going to be complete. Nope. Now here we are, stuck waiting for that. Fact is, we'll never get GTA 6, and I don't really give a crap if we ever do. See, the thing is, GTA to me is not something. I mean, I like some more of the online stuff, but I've seen a lot of people that play a lot of the same old bull crap on YouTube and Facebook. They're constantly trolling other players, constantly, beating them up and everything else, unsuspecting of them. Destroying their cars, throwing stuff at them. Like, how in the hell is that fair? Go out and knock them out like it's no big deal. Especially with invisibility when you're not even supposed to be able to cheat in the doggone online thing. I don't know. And I never even heard of Helldivers at all until Next Gen Gaming. You know, I didn't even know about Helldivers 2. I don't know about Helldivers 3. I am a Doom fan, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan of all the Dooms. I mean, I've seen some things I thought, well, this is cool, kinda, and then it kind of sucked for the most part. And then when I saw the actual footage of the game, yeah, mostly it was cool, I suppose. Uh, but then I saw like one of them was like, what the hell, man? Seriously, I get updating enemies and stuff like that, and making them a little bit more harder. But there was just enemies that they never even included. And one of the things that they did, they did with The Legend of Zelda. Actually, there's two things I didn't like about Zelda. But anyway, they took the chainsaw and made it a limited time use only. I mean, you can have it, but you can't use it until you use certain, and I thought that was stupid. I really did. So if I ever played the doggone thing, I'd never go for the stupid chainsaw. I hate the chainsaw. I only like the chainsaw in the original game. Uh, but as far as like the Legend of Zelda, there's two things. So you might want to go watch it before you listen to me or play it. The first thing to note, that are going to be both major things, is the ability to run, which is not a common thing apparently in all Zelda games. I guess I did not know that. I know that was ability, and we had to earn it in A Link to the Past. But what they did in the newest series, I hate it. Makes me not want to play it. It really does. Like, I I'm glad other people want to play it and they enjoy it, but I'll never be one of them that will ever enjoy something like that. I just won't. I don't know. Maybe I might wind up enjoying the game after all if I ever play it. But that's just one portion of it I'll never enjoy. Where you get it's on a timer and you gotta wait for yourself to catch up on breath, like it's real life. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. And then the one thing, look, I don't mind the new ability in the system to craft and make weapons, which is awesome as hell. That I don't mind. But here's the thing: they have the Master Sword. Okay, now you might be thinking, well, that didn't sound so bad, or I mean, you might not be thinking anything at all. But anyway, because I'm an honest guy. But anyway, I don't know because I don't know what you're thinking. Fair. But let's not get into it. The thing about it is that with the sword, not only does it become broken, but by the time you can even try, it makes all the stuff you're doing, the Master Sword, useless. The one thing that's supposed to be the ultimate weapon in the entire game, the universe of Zelda, makes it completely useless. Like, why do we even bother to pick up such an awesome piece of equipment? It's supposed to be the ultimate and be all that ends the entire game that you have to have. Like, why even bother when you got all these other awesome weapons that, don't get me wrong, awesome, cool. To me, that's not Zelda. Mainly because of the running and the sword. But number one, the sword war overall, because the Master Sword was the one thing that made it like this is what it truly feels like when you're playing Zelda. It's like taking any game and saying, well, okay, so you take out all the elements, stuff like that, because I could have complained. And the one thing about 10-2 was that, all right, they had no summons. The fact that they even got the summons in the doggone game, which I was told was impossible because they were needing a break, supposedly, was that it wasn't even there. And I didn't even know about the arena. There's an arena in the game. I don't even know why there's a possibility to even get them. I don't think it's going to be possible to even summon the things out, but I don't know. I couldn't play it very far with it. Not really. I got so far in it, and it just wasn't worth playing. I remember another game that was on PS3 that kind of really destroyed my PS3. The very first ever PS3 that I ever owned from Amazon, on credit of all things. This thing destroyed it because it lagged it so badly. It was called Aliens Colonel Marines. I got quite far up until a certain point. Maybe it was a different game. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was that one or another one. No, I think I got stuck on that one. And there was another game. I can't remember the name of it now, but that was the other one that did it. I had another game that was playing called Diablo. I love Diablo. No, wouldn't say I'm a die-hard Diablo fan where I constantly play it, no, but you know, I also am a fan of StarCraft up to a certain point. I'm also a fan of, well, there's just only so many games I can name off the top of my head. Populous isn't one of them. Populous is a game. There's a night for people that are not speedrunners. Speedrunners would absolutely have a field day and would have a lot more fun playing that, I would think. But no, I can't. Apparently, they don't. They don't play that. So, not populous. What am I thinking? Sorry, not populous. Why did I say populous? Sorry, that's not the name. The name of that stupid game. Obitus. That's the name of the game. I'm sorry. Populous is not it, but Obitus. Obitus is one of the most broken games I've ever seen because, well, not completely broken. No, but it's broken in the sense of, like, okay, you really can't sit there and enjoy the game like a normal average person. You have to speed run the piece of crap. Literally. Which means you have to take the time to remember every freaking map there is and run through as fast as you can. You have no time to rest. What little you do is very little. And yeah, I'm going to heavily spoil the damn thing because I'm not going to spoil the storyline because the storyline can't even match up too well with what the hell you're trying to do. It's like a survival game, but you gotta speed run it. And by the way, there is no cheat codes for it either. Yeah, lay that one on me. How the hell can it be that one game should be probably the one the most that should get a cheat code at the most, and that's only because of the stamina that goes down all the damn time. Because you either spend the time to kill, feed your health, and trying to rest to build up your stamina, and when it goes out, it goes to game over. You're done. Yeah, crazy. I haven't even mentioned the enemies. No, but yeah, there's so many key things you gotta run in and do, and make sure you do it in a timely manner. It's much like playing Majora's Mask. The only difference of Majora's Mask is that even though Majora's Mask does suck, and I will say that because here's the thing that makes it cool versus what makes it suck: the daytime bull crap. Because I'm gonna tell you something. With this game, it is one of those games you cannot take your time on. It will constantly have a game over unless you play it like so. Because you either can cheat with it and make it just a little bit more easier on yourself, not too much easier because it doesn't work like that. This game will have you running around doing obnoxious freaking quests that you have to constantly use the Song of Time. How you get the Song of Time, I don't know. I would say, dude, just cheat for it. Look it up and unlock the damn thing. So you can constantly do that. But it's still a pain because you still got to go through stuff and get it, like, you have to get it right for most of these doggone quests. And you have to do it, and you have to constantly reset time. Otherwise, the game will end. You know, and if you cheat like I have, you'll bypass it, but you can still get a game over because you're not going to get infinite health. There is no infinite health. There is just a cheat to get the right actual deal that works for the final boss. Like Ocarina of Time, Ocarina of Time sucks too. Now you might be thinking, well, what makes it suck? Well, it's not as bad as Majora's Mask, and believe me, I've found it to be quite entertaining for the most part. The thing I don't like about it is the other stuff you have to go through. That is absolute bullshit. Now, but at least you have plenty of time. But be wary because You got to find yourself a safe haven somewhere to be before, oh no, enemies just pop up out of the ground. And you either have to fight the ones that are in the daytime or the nighttime. The nighttime ones you don't want to fight. No, you don't. You want to go into a safe town, do your thing, whatever you got to do in there. And don't get me started on the doggone thing that makes the game what it is either. The horse bit, which I didn't understand. I thought I understood it when I played it a long time ago, but then when they made things updated and stuff, it just didn't make any sense. I'm one to play a game normally before I and try to figure it out before I find out whether or not I need to use cheat codes, especially for certain places that make more sense to me. Yeah. It also depends on the game and whether or not I really need it. Period. Now, because I mean, like, if I don't need it, then I like to have them on standby. And then one thing also that uh, makes the N64 emulator suck as well is not only that do the cheat codes not mostly don't work no more, but there's no speed. That's right. You can't speed up. I don't care about speeding down. I mean, well, I do to take it down to normal, but you can't speed it up. And apparently, since it used to be for about all systems that it was all figured out, yeah, you can't hardly load Mario 64 unless you want to have a laggy system. It was going to be a little bit, just a tiny bit laggy anyway with Ocarina of Time, but not as badly as that. Also, see, that also goes back to what I was telling you about earlier about making your computer functional. Now, I will say, thinking back on it, yeah, it's nice to have a nice functioning computer. It's just you're just looking for something that's simple and basic. It doesn't require all that, you know, in and out stuff. But what happens if you want to watch a movie on DVD and you don't want to watch online because you can't get online right now? What happens if you don't have VHS tapes and all you want to watch something on DVD and you can't, watch it because you don't have a DVD player? Or you might just want to watch it on Blu-ray. Now you might be thinking, well, what about a console? What if you don't have a console? What if all you have is your computer? Yeah, because most people don't have everything that you might have. Simple, basic, DVD player, whatever. But see, the thing is, you want to put it on a big, nice screen and not have to, screw with all that. No, instead, you just want to have a basic component because that's what that is. It's a basic thing. This computer has Ryzen Radeon. And the thing is that I forget what it's called, but it's also good too. I think it all needs to be built in and not separate like it has become. Uh, what is that called again? Intel. Intel is just as good as ever. I won't say it's better, and I won't say that AMD or Radeon is better than that. I would say that because Intel has a lot of good stuff that AMD does not do nor does Radeon. Now I'm not just talking about the graphics card either. I'm talking about with the technology of it, because it provides something that neither one of them have, and they never will. So, as good as it is, I will say it is good, but I won't say that it's just something that Oh, well, no, no, I won't. And I hope you have been commenting, because if you haven't, then I don't know what to tell you. Um, what's this? Yeah. But, because here's the thing. We all talk about how there's that. And the reason why you might be seeing Dark Theme is because I like Dark Theme. I mean, I guess you can comment on here too on Twitch now that it's going. Because I had to mess around with this to do this for a while. And it may look a little crazy, but I've also got this on BitChute, and I mean, I could do some copyrighted music if I wanted to, because the thing is that if you want to hear it later, start streaming. Oh, okay. You know, you can watch it over on my BitChute channel because we don't have to worry about the copyrights. Like, okay, for example, I decide to, I guess I can bring it up on that, can I? Since I don't have the mouse. But I'm gonna put down, I don't know, corn, maybe. I might just run some corn. Don't run corn, please. No, please. Please don't, no, no, no. Please don't run corn. Whatever you do, KORN, don't run it. Because, I wouldn't want you to like the song. We wouldn't want people to absolutely love corn. I mean, like corn on the cob. Oh, here's another one. Now, I might. 20.99. Now, I might, be getting copyright flagged on this. But see, I'm not worried about it. Because where my stuff goes to, it also says on my hard drive just in case it didn't get uploaded and I can upload it later. And if I have to, I can split it. I may have to renew the thing, which I think sucks. But again, no website is perfect. And I'd rather deal with having to pay for something than having to worry about, copyrights. Blah, 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 blah. And there you go. In the quiet. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I can listen to anything I want to, and nobody could tell me otherwise. Like these people that are going over here going, "Don't do that, please." Oh, it just offends me. I'm just gonna cry like a crybaby. Oh God! Shut up. Shut the f up. Maybe you should cry a little more to your mom. Your mama's calling. You know, that ain't what she told me last night. I don't know what the hell what she said, but she didn't say that last night. Yeah, I'm talking all you crying babies out there going, "Don't play my song." Fuck you. I'll play a song if I want to. And you might be thinking, pick a song already, dude. Okay, fine. I'll pick a song. Here we go. And if I get copyrighted over it, at least I have BitChute that will back me up. Because most likely, this video will be deleted on platforms that will copyright me. And just so you know, the backup will be up there, and yes, it will be. And if you don't like that, tough noogies. I say tough noogies. Well, take it up with them. Okay, it's not me you have to worry about. Okay, I'm not the one trying to make it difficult for everyone to listen to something that's copyrighted by the time we get done and everything. Like, oh, let's make everything so copyrighted. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because, who the hell wants to live life without copyrights? Just copyright every damn thing, why don't you? Because that's just the way it rolls. You know? Everybody wants to be all, oh, you cry, you cry, you cry. Told me that she had a gun. Ooh, I love that. 6 views. Woohoo! Well, what I don't understand most of the time when it comes to this channel is that it'll start out with 0, no matter what I do. So yeah, I would appreciate if you posted your comments, whatever. And yeah, I'll record them on another video or something, and that way before I delete it, and that way, we can review it later or something. You know. Um, because I don't want people to have to be like, oh, they can't do this or that. And as much as I like DJ Chan's Palatable Corner, there's nothing wrong with the corner. This originally was made for people to come in here and do, comments, to also if you need help. I mean, obviously, I can't do much about, like, if you have to have money or whatever. Yeah, no, there's nothing I can do about that. But if you just need help because someone's bullying you or whatever, yeah, I feel like this is the place. And frankly, I'm not going to say it's right or wrong to have AI or not. That's not up to me. You either use it or you don't. That's up to you. I'm not going to ban it. I think it's wrong to ban AI. And we know that AI has gone out of its way because, see, here's the thing. It's not so much AI, it's the people that are messing around with it. Like, they got these people falling through floors and stuff like that. It's just so stupid. It ain't bad enough people that are putting up, posters that are in a foreign language I don't even understand. Like, I mean, like, some of them you understand because you understand what's going on. You know. Again, it's not anything like that. While I do agree with the idea that you shouldn't have to learn another language, but that's like any other country. Thing is, it's not that you shouldn't have to. It's the fact that if you want to, you should have the right to learn it. You know, this is why people drive away from crap like this because, oh well, it's so wrong and whatnot. And back in my day, I will say this again, that there was no pride flags. That didn't mean we were a school that was against people that were gay. I don't like uh, people that say such stuff. I mean, and nobody when they did it, nobody was forced or made to have to celebrate Pride Month. Nobody did. You know, no one was forced to make the decision to do that. It was just there, and like okay, I didn't question it. I didn't think, oh my god, this just bothers me. It's gonna turn me to gay because I saw a flag. Because two dudes are kissing and making out in a park, I'm suddenly gonna become gay. That's exactly what this has come to. You know, the entire states of the United States of America is not even a real America anymore. And it never has been ever since the way he handled things. I won't sit there and talk about him being in charge. No, I didn't vote for the guy. But the way he handled things, yeah, I don't agree with it. No, no, I don't. And I will say this, that this country, if it comes to the point that J.D. Vance ever gets in charge, I'm going to hope and pray that everybody comes with me to cultivate a land we can call it a real true American. A real true America. And call this one the false America. As long as J.D. Vance and Trump runs it. And that's all due to the way that they handle things. Or rather, because J.D. Vance is supported by Trump. I won't allow it. I'm not asking to be in charge. I'm saying we'll cultivate a land and call it the real true America. If that doesn't happen, well, then it doesn't happen. I'm not going to bitch and moan about it. No, but one can always pray and hope, and that things don't have to be that way. And if it does, well, then maybe people that will come across the river and be like, yeah, let's get what it used to be like. You know, even though it was never a great America, and it never has been and never will be. Plus, the fact is, if we do go there, we'll go back to trading. None of this bull crap money. Let's stop the money train. Let's make each other's lives actually easier and not let one person ever become more richer than the other one because of money. I don't care how much one has, supplies, cars, whatever. It's the money. You know, someone to be there to help you fix something if it breaks down, not charge you a damn dime. Don't tell me, yeah, if it was just so that easy. It is easy once we get started on it. If you don't like it, well then that's fine with me. You know, because the moment we start acting like what we're supposed to be doing, then that's when America will truly shine for real. Not because we're gonna make America great again. It never even happened to begin with. No president in history has ever made America great. No. That was Trump's whole damn stupid slogan. You know? Screw you. Calling me my feedback. You ain't getting my feedback. Kiss my ass. But yeah, I figure, with the way things are, and if you don't want to comment there, then at least comment in DJ Train's Outpost Corner. Uh, about how you felt about the video and what you think of your thoughts, and any questions you want to ask me. Like, why did I say this? Why did I say that? I'll do the best I can to answer it. I mean, like, even though I've done the best I can already in video, but if you need any more clarification, then feel free to ask me. Don't be afraid. You know, because I mean, when I clarify something for you, you know, if it's not enough, then okay, I'll do the best I can to summarize what I can for you. But it also depends on what it is. Like, I can't give no more than what I can give into it. And people will always be people. You either love them or hate them. Doesn't matter. What matters is based off of their own actions and how they treat other people. One thing that always gripes on my nerves is people that go out of their way to pick on people. Like a real true bully. And they say, "Oh my God, you're cheating." They try and block you from, growing and stuff like that. I don't understand such vulgarity of crap. That I don't get it. See, the thing is, I have a lot of complaints and stuff like that, and stuff that I just don't feel like I should, constantly go over every freaking time I make a video. Like, I mean, like sometimes I might come up with something new to say or whatever, but and I have to say about people that absolutely upload and stuff like that. Yeah, it kind of gets to me, but I don't really try to make a big deal issue out of it, or make a video about it, or I comment on their video like, "Why are you posting so late?" or whatever. I mean, maybe they just have different hours they're trying to, they post on now because they've got such a good following. I don't know because back in the day, like Nintendo Capri Sun would, absolutely upload way earlier than that, whatever. And um, as far as I'm aware, I don't remember what time Necro would ever upload, rather release videos, I should say, because that's what it should be called. Because when you upload, it's pretty much, you know, it's there, but you know, it's because when it comes out, it's called releasing it. I don't know why we can't just call it like that. I think it's silly and ridiculous to say you uploaded a video when it's more like you released the video when everyone can see it. I can really explain that one, but But yeah, I mean, there's just so much that I could teach you, but I don't really care if you want to learn it or not. It's up to you. I'm not gonna force you to learn it. It's just not my thing to say, hey, I'll force you to learn this. No, you either learn it or you don't. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. But for the most part, my opinion should matter just as much as anybody else does. My thoughts and how I believe things should go as a fact of, you know, because the thing is, at the end of the day, everyone is everyone, and you are truly unique. You matter just as much as I do, and I matter just like you do. You know, the difference is, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, putting your stuff out there. That's kind of why I promoted this whole entire group. Well, I didn't really put money out on it. I didn't feel like that was necessary that I should have to. I think that's crap. Most of the damn time it doesn't really go too well, and it's not something that should ever be done. Um, got quite a few people in here that are good, valuable members. Well, they're all valuable members. Well, what I mean specifically is what they put in the group that you. I mean, if you care to check it out, yeah, like okay, Mega Grind Gaming. Um, People used to. There was someone who did post something and then they left. I don't know. Um, this guy is good, Andrew Chase. Um, one of my friends, personal friends, I met through Facebook. This is my page, yes, dog. I'm not gonna say follow it all the time, but Yeah, if you really want to, you can. I know it very very appreciative. Could oh Michael, so he's not available, huh? Sucks. No idea who that is. But there's just a lot of people who contribute by just being here. And if they, I mean, that's the thing. It's not just being here. You checking out the posts and stuff. I mean, there's no sense in joining a group and not just check it out. You know, I mean, like I can understand in certain situations when like her because she has an excuse. But see, that's the thing. I mean, like if you have an excuse, it's fine. Even though it's called the truth, but these are the ones that will be the ones that are providing stuff. I wish for everyone to post. It's not that you have to post it. It's just that you're welcome to do so. That I wanted you to feel like you could if you wanted to. That's why we kind of all peel back and don't constantly pound down when you can't post anything or nobody sees anything. And a lot of times, yeah, I put it on featured. That way you got also more. Well, actually, I did, but I'm beginning to wonder if that even has anything to do with people even seeing it. Still, I'll repost it, whatever, because I believe in helping out people. It's maybe someday, you know, more and more people will, you know, help out each other, help each other out to grow and what? There's another thing I don't do. Let's welcome our new members. Now I will do it maybe very rarely if I like casually mention them or whatever, but this no. This is an automated system that I can't quite get it to stop doing that horse manure. Yeah, at 91, Tina Louise stands as the final cast member of Gilligan's Island, and which is crazy because a while back, the final member of the Golden Girls, the original, I might add for the record, because that is true. She was the last remaining one, and then when she passed away, that was the end of the Golden Girls. And I don't know if they continued to do the new show, the remake of it. I didn't really care. I, to be fair, I barely got into the Golden Girls. To be honest with you, even though I did kind of like the show, I just wasn't that much into like other people were. I say like twice there. That was ugh, ugh. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shows I could name, and one of my favorite shows, I would say, didn't used to have the name Tinsorora. They had a different name on it, believe it or not. Um, I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't Tinsorora. It was always planned to be that way. I have no idea. But either way, the official uh, English translation for that is that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Great show. It's an anime. I highly recommend it, especially if you love anime. And if you don't love it, at least, if you don't love anime, okay, but don't knock it till you try it. Because not all anime is bad, terrible, unlike those hentais I've heard about. I don't watch hentai, but a lot of hentai shows that are so, hey man, we're out there and we're doing things we're not supposed to do. Yeah, yeah. This is what gets all the views. It gets people hooked on it. I don't mean like hooked on phonics either. I mean like literally hooked on it like it's nobody's business, but yet it is because it's public and everybody can see that everywhere. Yes, I mentioned hentai. But anyway, back to anime. Anime is not for everyone, and I get it. So I'm not recommending it to you if you're not an anime person. But I recommend any and all anime to check it out. If you don't love it, well then just all you gotta do is decide within about 3 seconds or 3 minutes if you don't like it. If you continue on beyond that and you still don't like the show, well, I don't know what the hell to tell you. I mean, for me, I'm not gonna be in the long haul when I don't like something. It just doesn't interest me. Spy X Family was something that like if you see clips of something, can generally turn you off on shows. And I'm not talking about inappropriately. There's two different meanings for that. In other words, this is the clean version, and it's also basically meaning that you don't want to watch the show. Yeah, I didn't really care for it. It was like a lot of like, okay, I didn't understand why they were fighting each other, nothing like that. No actual context or nothing like that, but they were always fighting and protecting one another. One almost, something or other, like they were the bad guys. I didn't get it. All that bull crap. It's like much like, um, although I did kind of like that show, but I still didn't quite understand it. I can't think of the name of the show now, but it's anyway, it was something else. And the guy who had eye, this eye where he was able to fix his own country, but he became, I guess, insane or whatever. Britannia, something to do with Britannia. It's nothing to do with what you might think, but if you've seen the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. Uh, uh, the Loose, I think his name is. I want to say. Well, anyway, needless to say, I don't know what happened to the one chick who was with him and all that, and I didn't like the idea of like like what was her actual name, and the reason for that is that it's not what you think it is. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking, honestly. But if you're one of those that thinks, whatever, but you know, because they bothered to not say it the entire time, you'll never freaking know. And I don't want to be mean to a book or anything or manga, but I think it's BS to have to go there just to find out the name because unless they say it in the show, because that's where I'm watching it at, and I don't find that fair or funny. Now, if I was making a lot of money like other people would be doing, if I had to deal with money instead of trade, well, even if I did have trade, anyway, I'd have all the mangas and I'd buy it, I'd get it all up, make sure it's done and everything supported and all that stuff. And I'd probably have a shelf of records, whole record cassette tapes, 8-track tapes, all kinds of stuff, old computers, new computer, anything to do with stuff that's, something like that, old games, new games, all the consoles. That would be my thing, and I would have VHS tapes, I guess, because yeah, I used to love VHS tapes. I don't know if I would be, I don't know if I would necessarily collect all VHS tapes, but maybe I would. And I'm not gonna collect one of those, illegal copies where it was pirated. No, pirated stuff only works for one thing and one thing only. As crazy as it sounds, like if you're trying to watch it online and you can't find it, like to buy it or whatever, Yeah. Hey, you know, like, okay, for example, I don't know if they ever had on Toonami Jetstream because Toonami Jetstream is down now. I never saw them in the posting anyway. The Zoids. And we know that I thought it was Zoid. Always thought Zoids chaotic, or there was Zoids and Zoids chaotic syndrome. But needless to say, I watched that entire show. It was pretty freaking awesome. I loved it. It was. I never cared for the lovey-dovey romance, which, then again, I guess wouldn't have been so bad if it was between. And this is not one of those things I would normally say about lovey-dovey romances because it wasn't pushed or shoved down the throat. I mean, although except for the one chick I didn't like, care for it, But this one character named Vaughn and her, I can't think of what she's called. Yeah, that wouldn't have been so bad. But because the other chick on there, the female, her relationships are way too rushed, way too forced. Like, yeah, no, 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 not enough time to develop off screen because it doesn't need to be on screen anyways. Not really. Like, and what's the point of introducing them anyway? Not one really into romance between men and women anyway. Not really. Uh, like I'm okay with people being together, but I'm not into it. I don't get all off on it. All kinds of any and every kind of way you can think it's imaginable. That's just not my thing. You know, as crabby as it might sound, women on women is my thing. Best couples I've ever seen. If I had to say anything, yes, the best couples in history would be women on women. Not every woman on woman, mind you, but a lot of women on women. Yeah, I ain't got nothing against guys being guys. I just don't care to see it. It's just not my cup of thing. I mean, I don't look, when they're kissing and making out. Women, I don't look either. You know, but if I had to say I did look, it'd be like because I accidentally saw him kiss. Like, hmm, amazing. And then I move on because, I can't stand there and watch them while they're in their bedroom because it's creepy, all that stuff. Because you know how it is. They're like, "Ooh, why are you in here? You know you're a man, right? Hello, nine or 911. There's a creepy guy in here." And just for the record, he's not the right guy. No, he's not. He's not the right guy we want watching us making love and passionately in the bedroom. No, sorry. It's just the way it is. Yeah, you like, uh-huh. I figured out your ticket. I know what it is. It ain't the right guy. The way it is with a lot of women. Not the right guy. You are not the right guy. And you know what? Fair enough. I'm not the right guy to be watching them, I guess. You know? And I am what I am. You know, no, I do love women on women, but hey, that's a different story. So if that answered all your questions and you didn't like it, well then, like and subscribe and follow anyway. Do it. Do it. And give me those views because it'll teach me a lesson I never learned that I will never soon forget. I mean, teach me one. And if you did like it, subscribe, like, and share, and hit that notification. Turn on. And if you are subscribed, make sure your notification bells are turned on because it helps us content creators. You know, and I hope to see you guys next time. Because as long as this is going on, it's almost like 10 o'clock. But I didn't think I was going to be going on this long. So, but yeah, I mean, I thought people would have come in and started commenting or something, but I wasn't trying to force the issue or ask, as a man, even for that matter, for them to, you know. Yeah, thank you so much. And for all the views, thank you for the subscription and, for free, I might add, because I don't believe in charging people to subscribe. Now, I mean, I wouldn't mind if that's what you want to do, but it's not something I will force you to do or say that you have to do. Because that's the thing about Facebook. I have an ability now, since I've been on there for so long, that I can have. And, yeah, I'm not going to turn it down, but I'm certainly not going to push for it because this is not what this is about. I'm not going to turn it off and say you don't donate or anything like that to me because, or do donate. I'm not going to say any of that. What I'm going to say is that yes, I earned it because I'm not asking for it. I know what my worth is because I mean I'm not in um you know if people want to give it, they give it, and there's no hard feelings. If they don't, there's no hard feelings. Either way, there's no hard feelings because if there was hard feelings, I don't think I'd be here today. No matter how many times I've been canceled, they try to push me away and hide me and push me underneath the carpet like I'm a dust. I'm a mess. I should not be here. I'll always be here. You know, making content, at least until the day I actually freaking die or try to stop actually making content. But yeah, I've got plenty of content if you want to check it out up here on BitChute. Yeah, I know it's out of whack and out of place for the most part. But hey, I've been loving this journey so far. You know, especially all the views and everything, because this has been an amazing, wild journey of a ride. Because everything has been for the most part, yeah, you know, awesome. Not just the views, but yeah, a lot of them to do with views and subscribers. Not just because of subscribers. No copyrights is also something that's made this so clean state and made it so much easier to represent and to show what I have out here for people to watch at any time. Like this right here, that's awesome that I've got 480 views. Wow, 434 for that one. And that one's got 362. That was my very first, I guess, ever one that I uploaded to this channel. This is another one I did a while back. All my most viewed videos are right here. And yet, I kind of, well, YouTube, I don't think, actually, I haven't seen what I do it anymore. They have most viewed. But see, the thing about most viewed, it seems like, as public as this is you really can't see it unless I'm showing it. And I haven't seen it where you can see it on the new BitChute. When I say new, I mean, here, let me show you what I mean, because yeah, like this right here. Let's close that out. It's right there. Yeah, it's just gonna do that every time. Yeah, viewed. Watch later. Favorites. Uh, playlist. What is reshoots? I have no idea. I don't think I want to know. This is my playlist entry, which I don't really like the way that they've done it here, but it is what it is. Well, hello. Shame that that account is. Oh, well, that's a shame. This guy, okay, he has more videos on his actual YouTube, and you know, yeah, realist and a slightly dark sense of humor. Um, whoa, his subscriber count has gone way down since the last time. It's because he hasn't been on so doggone long. Let me show you his channel right quick. We'll type it in real quick. Yeah, I'm not trying to actually watch a video right now of his, but he's got a lot of great content. He's got over, wow, he had more than that. His subscriber count has gone down, but it hasn't gone as badly as it did on BitChute. And I want to say, in a way, he recommended BitChute to me, but he didn't really specify. Oh well, hanging with Uncle Security Bro or Brian Barnett Godsey, as you all should know, is my real name. To come there, he showed it in a video because a lot of stuff. See, the thing about this versus where is it at? Oh, you can't see that, can you? I don't, I don't, I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can. Versus, I'll be doggone, you can't see BitChute. You guys just can't see it because it's not popping up on the screen, is it? Well, I guess I better. Okay, you didn't see this, so I'll move this. Okay, yeah, okay. There's that, and let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I'm not worried about those as I am. Oh, that's right. You can't see JJ Train's Outpost Corner. Um, there we go. So this is it right here. My bad. I wasn't really paying attention to that while I was streaming, but hey, it's not my first. That is weird. Why would you do that? This whole entire thing just got crazy hinged. Um, and let's see, what else am I doing? I wasn't trying to click on that. There we go. But yeah, here's CJ Train's Outpost Corner, featured and stuff like that. Like I said, we got quite a bit of people here. But yeah, I mean, just take a look at it. And there's that, and then here's his channel on YouTube. For he's got more, but he hasn't been here in over God so many years now. So he started out here like I did, many moons ago. and that's the way it is for Veteran 0121. I believe his real name is Paul. I wouldn't normally say that unless they actually name it, but I don't know his last name. It's like Necroscope 86. His real name is Richard. I don't know his last name. Now, I didn't know about that until it was revealed when he said something about one time when he was playing Silent Hill. It's another thing that's missing from YouTube. And the thing about BitChute versus YouTube is you can actually have it where it links up videos. I was not a fan of it because it was doing it in the wrong order. Now, I mean, I know I'm not perfect, but it was worse. And I know that it's not perfect either, but I stopped doing it, stopped it from doing that. I just wanted the videos to be put in the right order. So the thing about it is that, again, if you can't hear this at all because it's all copyrighted, and you'll hear it, chances are, later on my BitChute channel. Yeah, uh, you know, I wouldn't say we're friends, and I wouldn't say we're not friends. But yeah, you know, I wouldn't say I love you, and I wouldn't say I don't love you either, because we're all strangers, kind of. Even though as much as you know about me, you know, you don't know me, or I don't know you. I should say, more about me that I've revealed because I said I went to jail and all this stuff, and yeah, there's a whole lot of my background story that could fill pages upon pages of novels because that's how much information that I have that no one else has. Actually, probably bigger than a novel. It's probably people would get so bored of it, be like, God, what the hell's up with this story? This guy's just on and on. God, or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, life will always be what it is. You know, you, I don't know about the word granted. I mean, that's one word that's confused me in my entire life. Like, you shouldn't take things for granted, but then think maybe you should take things for granted. Like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? Am I taking it for granted or not for granted? Like, I guess, I mean, it's really confusing because, like, how do you know which one you're supposed to do? Well, and I'm talking about generally, like, even though it's like explained one thing, it's like, like you should take this opportunity to next something of yourself. And then there's other stuff like you shouldn't. So that one there, I'm not gonna say I'm too familiar on, or not. I'm not too familiar. Sorry, I can remember right now how to say that one, but I'll say, but how to describe that one, but you shouldn't take it for granted. Other than like, shouldn't take people for granted. Now that I think about it, that didn't hit me. Well, not physically. But the thing about it is, you gotta think about it like this. How's sitting down? Have their own problems and stuff, and I mean, there's always something to deal with. Like, you might have to deal with the wife or someone else you have to deal with, and it's like, yeah, will it ever end? I don't know. And, because to be honest, life has quite a lot of things. Does that mean that one of us is worse than the other one? No. But what it does mean is that for you, you're in your own situation. Yeah, it's worse for you yourself, not than anybody else. No, but for you, yes. But yeah, I mean, and I gotta also something else. Um, The more prettier a person is, the more uglier they are. And the more uglier you are, the more beautiful you are. No, sorry. The more beautiful you are, the more ugly you are. And the more ugly you are, the more beautiful you are. Because what that means essentially is that you are beautiful and that appearance shouldn't mean any damn thing. And the lipstick, yeah, is crazy. Even though that, you can doll them up, put makeup on them, like that kind of stuff, you know, on women. But the thing is, at the end of the day, without the makeup, they might be like, well, they're just so ugly and horrible. And if they are, that's what makes them more beautiful, more unique than when they just slap that glamorous bullshit on their face. Like they're just trying to impress people because they mean more than what your own self confidence means. Because building your own self confidence does not evolve around pleasing even your own man or your own partner. No. The fact is, yes, they should be supportive of you. So should anybody. But what that also means is that even though it may not matter, but it also matters. You know what I mean? Because in other words, if someone is being so cruel and they say that they're your friend, they're not. And that's why it doesn't matter what you say. But at the same token, if you're saying something nice or you're being constructive about it, you're being so, like a constructive, um, you know, constructive criticism, where it's not so badly negative, then it's okay. You know, but not so badly like, hey, this is what makes you look like a faggot, like a gay person. Have you seen a gay person? Do you know what it's like to be gay? No, then you have no idea. If you base what appearances and objects do based on what makes a gay person, you literally have no clue. And that's an insult. And I don't take too kindly to that. And neither does anyone who's gay. And as right as they shouldn't. All I can easily enough to say, yeah, I should take everything with a grain of salt. But you can't when people always have to belittle people because they're different than you. Because they're not straight like you. Like it's a disease. Well, it's more of a disease to be straight than it is to be gay, then. Especially being transgender. And no, pronouns do not exist. Should not exist. I am me and I've always been me. I've been nobody else but me. There is no he, him, her. He, him, it. Although sometimes I can refer to myself as that in a story kind of thing. But that's different. Totally different. You see, again, I could easily say it, but it wouldn't matter because a lot of those people are not going to be watching this. Regardless of whether this is a live stream or some kind of person that's doing recorded content. Nobody's going to give a damn. Yeah, I'm multi-streaming on both. Well, except for Facebook, because Facebook won't let me do it unless I have 100 followers. I've got Twitch, I've got uh, YouTube, and I've got you know BitChute going. Except that I couldn't do it through old BitChute like I used to. But I don't really care about all that. What I care about is being able to do a live stream. And yes, I will be doing it every now and again. I just won't be doing it all the time because a lot of my time will be majorly when I'm doing anything to do with content will be me just recording content. And if you have a problem with that, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. I'm not gonna cry and say, please like my content. Please, please, I'm begging you to like my content. If you can't tell that I was speaking all that and being sarcastic, then you have no idea the rot you've only begun. Because, oh yeah, your opinion matters to me. Feed me all that hatred. Feed me. Hate me. Fear me. Okay, no, let's not go there. But still, the point is, you know, this is life, folks. People either are going to like you or they're not. You know, I sometimes do things to people that they should understand, and I made it clear that I'm just mixing things up. I'm not trying to really hate and bash on anything. I just sometimes give a little bit of a negative review, not too much though of it, because I'm not gonna say, "Oh my god, you're so gay, dude." Really, is that necessary? No, I don't put out there. You shouldn't put this out here. I don't do that. No, it's not how you support people. Sometimes a little bit of negativity doesn't hurt, DJ Train. All the negativity needs to go. Okay, I'm just messing with you. No, but for real, I'm sure you heard that. Because, I mean, like, and another thing is DJ Train, you, anyone else who wants to go about going, yeah, you don't like me, but I like you. You gotta like me back. I said this time and time again. It don't matter, and it shouldn't. It matters the people that love you, you know, people that care about you. Anyway, I gotta go. I can't believe I said all this, but I can't believe I made it this far without deleting this or whatever. But anyway, love you, buddy. I really do. Because, I mean, I'm just saying he's a prime example of the past. I mean, like, I'm sure he's learned by now. But yeah, dude, I mean, I still see every once in a while these posts about how, oh my god, you gotta love me. If nobody loves you for what you are and what you have, then they don't deserve to love you. They don't deserve to be a part of your life. You know, a little bit of negativity never hurt anybody. A little bit of lying never hurt anybody. You know, like when you tell somebody you love them and you really don't. I'm not talking about him either. Like someone else I could name, but I'm not going to. You know, love you. I love you too. Yeah, that's who it is. It's a her. Maybe at one time I did love her, but it wasn't anything. I kind of see myself that maybe I could have had a chance with her, but it never happened. Yeah, with many problems she'd given me, nope. She actually accused me of something I didn't do, and I won't tell you what that is either. I can't believe her. She would do that to me. She had no proof of it. So one day, I just did the best thing I did because, I will tell you this. If a person gives you permission to massage them, only what you're supposed to do, and you don't go no further, and they start accusing you of something else, yeah, it doesn't look good. Yeah, that's the way it is. Some people are like that. But I've always had problems with her even before she lost 30 years of her life. And this happened to be after she lost 30 years of her life when she accused me of that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to lock up the office. So I'm not going to jail just because she accused me, you know. And there is evidence to prove that I didn't do it. Thank you very much. So, I would say she probably deserves to go to jail. Guess what? She was in jail twice. One for attacking her former husband. She's actually had about 3 husbands, I think. I'm sure. I know one of them. She still keeps trying to cling on to every once in a while. The second one, I mean, they've both given her problems, but this one here was the last one that really kind of hit her over the edge. And not only that, but between the many stresses she's had to deal with, you believe me, I supported her. I did. I comforted her before that. I mean, she didn't say anything like that. All I did was hug her. Because, yeah, we've been good enough friends, and I just, it looked like she needed it. That's what it, and, I felt sorry for her, so I hugged her. Unlike the a hole that her husband was being, went off and went on to his bed. Like, she's like, you really care, because you don't. I took to all hold her and I embraced her because that's the best thing any friend should do. Yeah. Needless to say, I've calmed down over the years. I've kind of been angry about things, but never really tried to get angry over a lot of different things, like other people have. I've never thrown a controller, you know, um, anything like that. What I have done is, probably things I probably shouldn't have done, but I ultimately did because, but I won't tell you what it is. Nah, that's not appropriate. I mean, like, it wasn't anything sexual, but it was just not appropriate because it will classify me as someone who's got issues, and well, yeah, I'll admit it. Yeah, I do, but I always wind up not all the time being all focused on it because that's not been my experience. A person who constantly flips out, I can't even believe I'm saying that, over the slightest thing. Yeah. Let's just stop talking before I get myself in any more trouble. Okay. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I know this went on more longer than I should have expected.